station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Happening now at 9 after the game, covering the entire DMV. A string of shootings. An officer-involved shooting this afternoon in the district. On scene, a report, plus where 3 other investigations are underway since just this morning. And Virginia veto, the governor tossing dozens of bills in the trash. How women's health and an organization tied to the Confederacy are involved.
The rain is over for now, but we still have some clouds out there. We could have some thick fog possibly as well. We'll talk about that, show you visibilities, and give you your 7-day forecast all coming up.
All right, Scott, thank you. Then there were 2. The mad dash in Maryland for the coveted U.S. Senate seat heats up between a former governor and Prince George's County's top official. How abortion will be a central issue on the campaign trail. And peas on down the road, how and where a Virginia highway was riddled with vegetables. We'll veg about it in just a few moments. Good Saturday evening. Thank you for joining us for DC News Now at 9. I'm Ben Dennis. We begin tonight in DC. Police officer is recovering after being stabbed earlier today in Northwest near the Kennedy Center. So is the attacker that the officer shot. DC News Now's Dave Laval tells us what led up to this shooting outside of an apartment complex.
Things are a lot calmer here at the Colonial Plaza Apartments. However, gunfire changed all that Saturday afternoon.
It is scary, at least.
Not what Ashley Henry wants to see just as she arrives from Nashville to move her son into the Columbia Plaza Apartments. Police cars all around the complex as an officer shot and wounded a suspect.
Yeah, I know it's dangerous everywhere now, but, you know, you just pray that everything's going to be okay.
Officers responded around 10:40 Saturday morning for a welfare check. Someone allegedly said their friend suffered a mental health episode. The Department of Behavioral Health arrived to take the man in for a mental evaluation. Roughly 4 hours later, police say the suspect used this knife to stab one of the 4 officers in the neck. That officer used a taser, which police said did nothing.
A member then used his department-issued service weapon, striking the individual.
I'm a little worried, but you know, hopefully this is just a one-time thing. I'm not totally sure.
Saturday's incident took place just over a year after another shooting at the complex. That did not involve police. A gunman opened fire inside a gym in one of the buildings. The victim survived. The 4 officers on the scene at the time of the shooting have now been placed on administrative leave. In Foggy Bottom in Northwest, Dave Laval, DC News Now.
Our thanks to Dave tonight. DC police say that they're also investigating 2 shootings overnight. Officials say a report for the first came in around 12:40 a.m. on Spring Road in Petworth. Police found a man who had been shot. He was sent to the hospital. No word on his condition at this hour. Then around 4 a.m., police were called to V Street near the popular On scene, officers found a man who was shot, unconscious and breathing, sent to the hospital. Police are looking for a red or purple Dodge Charger with unknown tags. In Northeast, 12 people and 3 pets are without a home tonight after this house fire in Northeast. Officials say it happened at a multi-family home on 24th Street around 4 o'clock. No injuries reported. Investigators are still on scene to determine the cause of that fire. In Maryland, a Montgomery County student was robbed of his clothes at knife point while headed home from school. That's according to police. They just released this video of the suspect. We're told this happened Wednesday, May the 1st on Loxford Terrace in Wheaton. Police are hoping to ID who this is. They do believe the suspect is between 15 and 18 years old. And a midday rescue in D.C. A man fell down an open shaft in a building that was under renovation. Officials say it happened on 6th Street Northwest around 11 o'clock. Crews say that the man was safely removed from the shaft. He was sent to the hospital with critical injuries. Time is 9:12. Over to your forecast for Scott Sumner. Scott, we talked about the peas on the highway earlier. Please appease my interest and bring along a better forecast than today.
Well, yeah, I'm going to try and do that for you, Ben, here. Right now, we haven't seen any change in the temperatures since we last spoke at 6 o'clock, 63 degrees, mostly cloudy skies. There's the change. We had rain before. We don't now. We have those rain showers moving across into the eastern shores of Maryland, as well as Delaware. And you can see where that green is here, primarily across southern and eastern Maryland here over the last hour or so. But we'll get another opportunity opportunity after a couple of dry days here building in to see some showers, and those will arrive here on Thursday and potentially for some on Friday and even into the beginning of next weekend, which, believe it or not, is the unofficial start to summer, Memorial Day weekend. Yeah, that's coming up here next weekend, but we'll get into that with a 7-day forecast and what's expected temperature-wise with that in just a little bit. Overnight fog is going to be building in, taking place, or replacing, I should say, the rain showers that were here before. Spotty mountain showers for Sunday, warming up next week, and watching Thursday for some storms, some of which could be strong or severe. We'll talk about it coming up. Ben.
We'll take the start of summer. Scott, thank you. New details from Fairfax County in yesterday's deadly shooting in Bailey's Crossroads. Police say that they have now charged 2 Virginia men related to this. Officials say the shooting took place around 1 a.m. on Argyle Drive. It's there they found 21-year-old Alder Perez Arguet shot. He later died at the hospital. 20-year-old Angel Perez and 25-year-old Candido Argueta are facing several charges, including second-degree murder and robbery resulting in death. That investigation is ongoing. Staying in the Commonwealth, Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin vetoed 48 bills ahead of a midnight deadline just yesterday. That includes a bill that would have established a person's right to contraception. A statement from the governor's office says any bill on contraception must be coupled with protections for providers and respect the rights of parents to make their own decisions.
It's just a big question about enforcement when, in fact, a physician may make a decision that is so fundamentally based on the health of a patient and therefore wanting to prescribe something different or do something different that needs to be in the physician's judgment.
Youngkin also vetoed a bill that would have stripped the United Daughters of the Confederacy of certain tax exemptions. He also vetoed a bill that would have legalized skill games in the Commonwealth. New tonight, D.C. Councilman and former Mayor Vincent Gray suffered another stroke. His office tells us he was hospitalized late last month, but details of this latest health setback only coming out right now. Gray's spokesperson says the stroke was minor and he is completing daily physical therapy while still working for constituents in Ward 7. Gray is not seeking re-election after suffering a previous stroke in late 2021. But why are we just now hearing about the additional stroke? Well, Gray's spokesperson tells us the councilman hasn't sought to hide anything from the public, but, quote, "My health is a private matter, provided that it doesn't interfere with my public duties." A post on Gray's social media, you can see right here, May 7th, said that he would not attend a council meeting due to inpatient physical therapy, though it did not explicitly cite his recent stroke. In D.C. News Now is your local election headquarters. Abortion will be a key issue in the upcoming U.S. Senate race in Maryland. Our political and government reporter Leonard N. Fleming caught up with the candidates, Republican candidate Larry Hogan and Democrat Prince George's County Executive Angela Alsobrooks. He shares where they stand.
Well, the former governor says that he's always been in favor of protecting abortion rights for women, but he's furthering that stance by saying now that he is pro-choice, a stance that Democrats say they don't believe. Former Maryland Governor Larry Hogan, now the GOP nominee for an open U.S. Senate seat, says this Friday.
I'm not personally in favor of abortion, and I was raised as a Catholic, but I also have said for decades that I wasn't going to make that choice for anyone else. And
that dovetails with Hogan declaring this week that he's pro-choice after previously declining to officially take a stance.
No one should come between a woman and her doctor. That's my position.
And the popular two-term governor says that he would also vote to enshrine abortion rights into federal law and the state constitution.
I think he has a record that Marylanders will become aware of.
Democratic opponent and Prince George's County Executive Angela Alsobrooks told DC News Now on Wednesday that Hogan isn't for abortion rights in Maryland.
They will know for sure that he is a person who is not pro-choice, that he vetoed important abortion care legislation that would have expanded that care across the state.
But Hogan says over the past 90 days, he's listened to Marylanders' concerns about the overturning of Roe v. Wade.
You know, voters do trust me in Maryland.
Hogan says that he expects Democrats to attack him on the abortion issue, but that Marylanders know him and his record. Meanwhile, Alsobrooks says that she also will seek to define Larry Hogan, particularly on the abortion issue. Reporting from Prince George's County, Maryland, Leonard N. Fleming, DC News Now, back to you.
We'll be covering it all, Leonard. Thank you. An update tonight on the Key Bridge collapse cleanup. The Dolly cargo ship that collided with the bridge in late March is slated to be refloated tomorrow. Officials say that process will take around 18 hours, starting around noon. Monday, the ship will then be pulled by tugboats at 1 mile per hour to a local terminal. Officials say the trip to the terminal from the crash site will take around 3 hours.